Wait, so eating red meat actually makes you smell bad?
Yeah, that is pretty much the core finding of some really fascinating research, and it's why we're doing this deep dive.
Into the shocking chemistry of food and body odor.
Exactly. It's not just about smelling sweat, you are literally smelling the breakdown products of your last meal.
Okay, let's unpack this right away. The idea that my personal, aroma is less about hygiene and more about what I ate a few hours ago, that just completely flips the script.
It really does.
So our mission here is to figure out the chemical pathways, how dinner turns into, well, our personal scent.
Precisely. Our body odor is an external signal, and it's basically dictated by our internal digestive chemistry. What you eat determines which volatile organic compounds get released through your skin.
It's like a biochemical mirror of your diet.
That's a perfect way to put it.
So let's start with the big one, red meat. This isn't just an opinion, right? This is a peer-reviewed finding.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Where's the evidence from?
The main evidence comes from a really well-regarded controlled study. It was published back in 2006 in a journal called Chemical Senses. People just call it the red meat experiment now.
The red meat experiment. I love it. So how do you even test something like that? Like, how do you scientifically test who smells better?
Well, what they did was they took a group of guys and put them through two different 2-week phases.
Okay.
In one phase, they ate red meat. In the other, they completely cut it out. So they were the non-meat eaters for a bit. And crucially, they collected sweat samples during both periods.
And then what? They had people smell the samples?
They did. They brought in a group of female judges who rated the samples on a bunch of different things, intensity, pleasantness, and even attractiveness.
No, let me guess.
Yeah.
The judges confirmed the whole meat stink idea?
Decisively, yeah. Across the board, the sweat from the men when they were on the non-meat diet was rated as way more pleasant, a lot less intense, and yes, statistically more attractive.
Wow. That's a huge evolutionary signal, if you think about it. Like, your brain's subconsciously rating health based on smell. But let's get into the mechanism. Why does a steak, which is just protein, suddenly translate into a less appealing scent?
It all comes down to how efficiently you break it down. Specifically in the large intestine, red meat is it's really dense in protein and fat, so it's harder to fully digest higher up in your system.
So some of it makes it down to the colon undigested.
Exactly. And that's where the gut bacteria go to work on the leftovers.
And what happens then?
That process, especially breaking down certain amino acids, produces some really potent, foul-smelling compounds. We're talking about chemicals like skedols and indoles.
Skedols and endols, they sound unpleasant.
Oh, they are. They're the chemicals responsible for that distinct, heavy, almost fecal-like odor.
And those just get out through your skin.
The problem is that they're volatile. So if your liver doesn't neutralize them fast enough, they get absorbed into your bloodstream. And once they're circulating, your body treats them like toxins and tries to push them out through your lungs. That's bad breath. And yeah, through your sweat glands.
So is this like a permanent thing? If I have a steak tonight, do I smell bad for a whole week?
The main effect is pretty quick. You'd notice it within hours, maybe peaking after a day. But the study was 2 weeks long, and it suggests that if you eat a lot of red meat all the time, you're just sort of constantly dealing with a higher chemical load.
Fascinating. So if meat is the big offender, what else is on the list? I mean, everyone knows about garlic, but what are some of the more surprising ones?
Okay, for that we have to talk about sulfur compounds. And this is where healthy eating can sometimes come with a bit of a social cost.
Oh, no.
I'm talking about cruciferous vegetables, so broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts.
Wait, those are staples of a healthy diet. You're telling me my kale smoothie is making me smell bad?
It could be. It's because they're packed with these things called glucosinolates.
Glucosinolates.
They're sulfur-containing compounds. And they're actually essential for the veggie's flavor and even their anti-cancer properties. But when you digest them, enzymes break them down into these really potent sulfur-based metabolites.
And that's where the smell comes from.
That's exactly it. You get these volatile compounds, think like hydrogen sulfide, and your body wants to get them out fast. So they escape through your pores, giving your sweat this pungent, kind of rotten egg quality sometimes.
So the healthier the food, the more you might stink. That feels like a cruel joke.
It's a trade-off. The health benefits are huge, but, maybe don't load up on broccoli right before a first date.
Noted. Okay, let's pivot to another big one. Alcohol. I think we've all noticed that one.
Oh, yeah. And the chemistry there is super direct. When you drink ethanol, your liver immediately tries to clear it because it's a toxin. It uses an enzyme to convert the ethanol into something called acetaldehyde.
Acetaldehyde. Why is that step so important?
Because acetaldehyde is highly volatile and toxic itself. It's what's responsible for a lot of the misery of a hangover, and it has this sharp, almost sickly, sweet smell.
But it doesn't stop there, right?
No.
Yeah.
The liver then converts that into acetic acid.
Acetic acid? Isn't that just vinegar?
It is, essentially. And if you drink too much for your liver to keep up, that acetic acid spills into your bloodstream, and you sweat it out.
You're telling me we sweat vinegar?
Yes. That's what creates that signature sour, sometimes metallic smell. It's the booze sweat. Your body is literally sweating out the byproduct of your cocktail.
Wow. Okay, so we've got the heavy meat, the sulfurous greens, the vinegar sweat. This is all pretty repulsive. What's the good news? What can we eat to smell better?
We can use chemistry to our advantage. Two ways, really. First, you can flush the system. Second, you can introduce genuinely pleasant compounds.
Okay, what are the best flushes?
First up, citrus fruits. Oranges, lemons, grapefruit. They're high in water, which helps, but more importantly, their acids help boost liver function. They help clear out those scatals and acetic acid metabolites we were just talking about.
So you can speed up the removal process? Does it change the scent too?
It does. They're full of fragrant oils like limon, and limon is one of those VOCs that your body can excrete through sweat. So you're kind of adding a natural deodorizer from the inside out.
So you're fighting the meat stink with a fresh citrus aroma. I like that.
What else?
We should also talk about aromatics. Things like cardamom or jasmine tea. The chemical compounds in them, like cineol and cardamom, are also released through the skin. It's like an internal air freshener.
Okay, so we've covered the bad and some of the good.
Yeah.
But there is one fact in our sources that is just so weird, so completely bizarre, it needs its own spotlight.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
You're talking about the great maple syrup mystery?
The thing that turns your body into a walking dessert.
This is where the chemistry just gets wild.
Yeah.
We are talking about fenugreek seeds. Fenugreek. The spice you find in a lot of Indian and Middle Eastern food. Why does this one little seed have such a profound effect?
It's all because of one specific chemical compound it contains, a compound called Sotolon.
Sotolon. Okay, so what's so special about Sotolon?
What's fascinating is that Sotolon is basically resistant to being broken down by our bodies. Its molecular structure is just really, really robust. So the enzymes in your liver that are supposed to dismantle foreign compounds, they just can't really grab onto it.
So it's like it's invisible to our digestive system.
Precisely. It just passes through the system almost completely unchanged. And since the body can't process it, it gets excreted directly, still intact, through your urine and, crucially, through your sweat glands.
And Sotolon is the same chemical that makes maple syrup smell like maple syrup.
It is the chemical, yes.
Yeah.
It's the reason maple syrup has that smell. It creates this incredibly strong, sweet, sugary scent. People who start taking fenugreek supplements often get worried they have some weird medical condition.
Until they realize it's just the Sotolon molecule waving hello on its way out.
Exactly.
That is genuinely unbelievable. It's the perfect example of how some molecules just bypass our entire metabolic system and leave the body carrying their original scent.
It just proves that you really are what you eat, right down to the molecular level.
So we started with the idea that a steak dinner could ruin your dating life, learned that healthy vegetables are a sulfur trade-off, and discovered that alcohol turns us into walking vinegar bottles.
And we ended on the highest note possible. If you want to smell like a stack of breakfast food, Sotolon is your very unexpected answer.
I guess I'm eating pancakes for dinner then.
But before we finish, let me leave you with one final thought. If our diet directly controls our chemical release, and we know different cultures have diets high in specific aromatics, like cumin or coriander,
Right.
it suggests that body odor isn't just random. It could be a kind of cultural chemical signature. And if we can choose foods that release pleasant smells on purpose, are we moving towards a future where internal scent customization replaces perfume?
Wow. Are we moving from external cosmetics to internal biochemistry as the next frontier is scent? That is definitely something to chew on.